Now to the Middle East, where Israel and Iran exchanged airstrikes and missile barrages for a third straight day. Israel struck at least two oil refineries as it widens its target list beyond military and nuclear facilities. In addition, Israel warned Iran to evacuate arms factories. A human rights group that's long tracked Iran says Israel's strikes have killed at least 406 people and wounded another 654. In response, Iran launched more missiles into Israel. Outside Tel Aviv early this morning, rescue teams searched for survivors in the rubble of an apartment building. At least 10 people in Israel have been killed overnight, bringing the death toll there to 13. Joseph Fetterman is the Associated Press news director for Israel, Jordan, and the Palestinian territories. Joe, what's the latest on what's going on the ground in Israel right now?
Well, this military operation is continuing. Israel is continuing to strike targets in Iran. So that means that we are seeing repeated barrages of missile fire. In fact, just over an hour ago, we had another missile attack. Nothing landed here in Jerusalem. This time, the missiles fell in northern Israel. But these alerts are affecting the entire country. Oftentimes, we can look up in the sky and you can see interceptions and things flying overhead. So, we're seeing it across the country and feeling it everywhere.
And this is nationwide. This isn't concentrated in a particular part of the nation.
No, the alerts are going off across the country. We have gone through three drills in the past 24 hours where the landings have been across the country. We've seen them in the Tel Aviv area, in northern Israel, and even south of Tel Aviv as well. Nothing so far has landed in Jerusalem, but you do feel it. You see interceptions overhead and you hear the thunder, the booming, almost sort of like a bass drum or thunder off in the distance because everything is relatively close here.
Help us understand what it's like to live with this threat looming over you.
It's very disruptive. You can feel it really everywhere you go. The other night, I was on the first night of the fighting. I was driving home from the office, and it reminded me of those early days of COVID. The roads were just completely empty. Maybe you would see a taxi here and there, but really empty. Things have come alive just a little bit, but the volume, the number of people you see on the streets is minimal. Many of the stores are closed or closing early. Schools are only learning over Zoom right now. So it's really disrupted life across the country. It affects people's moods. People are tense. They're worried and they don't know where this is headed.
You know, over the past 25 years, Israelis have dealt with suicide bombers, rockets coming from Lebanon, rockets coming from Gaza. I'm wondering, do you have a sense of how people are reacting in comparison, how it compares to those other things?
It's always hard to compare. Each one is unique. Each one has its own sets of challenges. This one is quite scary just because the types of weapons that are being fired here, these missiles are huge. The prime minister has compared them to sort of flying buses, and they are sending barrages of dozens of them at the same time. What makes this conflict different compared to the other ones that you mentioned is that Israel does have that air defense system. You probably heard about Iron Dome and other systems that they use to intercept these missiles. So that does give you some sense of personal security, but the system isn't 100%. And when dozens and dozens of these missiles are coming, it's almost inevitable that something's going to get through. And it's just that feeling that it's so random. You don't know where it's going to come down. You don't know if you're 100% safe. So this time around is quite chilling, just like all the other ones.
This is, of course, on top of almost a year and a half now of war in Gaza. What's the public sentiment about this?
Well, after a year and a half of conflict in Gaza, the country's become very divided over that. There's a large number of people who just want to see that war end. And you probably know there are hostages who remain inside Gaza. They want to see those hostages come home. But so far, the public, I haven't seen opinion polls yet. We're only a few days into this. But the public does seem to be lining up behind this one. Israel's opposition leader, Yair Lapid, also has come out in favor. There's really a widespread consensus. Iran is seen as the biggest threat, the biggest enemy to Israel, and that feeling is pretty widespread. So early on, at least, the public seems to be behind this, but we've seen this many times before. Operations start off kind of clean with lots of support. The longer they drag on, the more things can get messy and the more the nation can become divided.
Joseph Fetterman of the Associated Press in Jerusalem, thank you very much and stay safe.
Thank you.